When the two intruded into the emperor's bedchamber, they saw the emperor coming out just after his bath. His abs were so perfect and they were shining. For a moment, she forgets she was with her bunny husband. The emperor inquired what they wanted, prompting her stay out focused. The purpose of this visit was to mend the relationship between father and son. She should quickly say something flattering about the emperor, so she praised, "Your abs are truly amazing." After saying it, she realized what nonsense she was talking and hurriedly explained, "I'm seeing a man like this for the first time." This statement shattered Blake's self-image. Anissa felt her explanation just made things worse. The emperor awkwardly cleared his throat, put on his clothes, and said it wasn't a good time to talk today, asking them to come back another time. Seeing the emperor so covered up, she thought it was a bit excessive. When they came out, seeing Blake in a gloomy mood, she thought it was the first time his father had kicked him out. But he was actually jealous. Before, his wife clearly liked cute boys, but now she seemed to like abs. He said to the guard, "Eden, come with me for a moment," mysteriously taking him to a secluded corner. Blake asked him to take off his clothes. The guard was instantly puzzled but still complied. "These muscles are so handsome," he remarked. Upon learning that his wife coveted the emperor's abs, he began to feel jealous of his father. He sneakily went to the guards to ask for the method to train an 8-pack abs. While Ansia was wetting Blake's hair, she noticed his melancholy expression as he kept covering his chubby belly. She tried to cheer him up by cooking his favorite food, but he remained indifferent, adamantly declaring that he wouldn't eat the next day and flopping onto the bed in a playful manner. He insisted on developing an 8-pack like his father, which made Ansia realize that he was bothered by her calling his belly baby fat. With no other option, she resorted to her tricks of comforting children and pounced on Blake, tickling him until the crown prince begged for mercy. Finally, she gently hugged Blake and said, "I love you healthy and strong. Remember to eat more starting tomorrow," to which he giggled and agreed. However, their every move was being monitored. Unbeknownst to them, the emperor had been secretly deploying guards to protect them. The emperor noticed a significant change in Blake after Ansia married into the family. His hollow eyes began to shine brightly. However, amidst the surveillance, the guard forgot his original purpose as his gaze was gradually captivated by the beauty and intelligence of the girl. He held Ansia in high regard. Upon hearing the guard's report, the emperor seemed contemplative, thinking that she was too perfect. The next day, the emperor sent several trucks of gifts to Ansia, possibly due to her praise of his abs, which left her puzzled but alert. As she was summoned by the emperor, Ansia slapped her cheeks to stay alert, knowing that she was about to meet him. After dressing up, Blake was astonished by how stunning Ansia looked. Finally, the daughter-in-law formally met her father-in-law. Ansia expressed her gratitude to the emperor for the gifts, especially the golden dress that she really liked. The emperor suddenly asked, "Do you like gold?" Ansia found this question quite odd, as if it were probing something about her. She replied, "The reason I love that dress is because I could match it with the crown prince." The emperor's probing didn't end there. He asked, "Do you like him?" She didn't hesitate to respond, "Of course, he's my husband." But he further inquired, "How can you like him? A lot of people despise him." Ansia suddenly remarked, "Those are blinded by rumors, and you love him too." This caught the emperor off guard. He set down the teacup, neither admitting nor denying, and said, "That's rude. He is the heir of the curse." She smiled and countered, "He is still your son. I am sure about your majesty's love for him." The emperor was curious about her confidence and asked, "Why is that?" She replied bluntly, "Why would you send gifts to me, your daughter-in-law, if you hate your son?" The emperor didn't admit it, and said he only sent gifts as an apology for Marquis Hamel's treatment. Ansia continued, "Well, yesterday you forgave me even though I said something pretty daring." The emperor recalled the girl's straightforwardness and finally smiled. It was definitely daring. Ansia also smiled. This embarrassing incident seemed to instantly bring the two closer together and made the emperor stop probing her. He arranged a table of delicious food for her to enjoy. She happily started eating. Seeing her enjoyment, he also instructed someone to send the same food to the crown prince. Seeing the emperor's fondness for her, Ansia took a step further and whispered a secret to him, calling herself a polyglot and addressing him as father. Surprised, the emperor asked, "What did you just call me?" Ansia smiled and said, "I'm your daughter-in-law, so I call you father." This endearment pleased the emperor, who generously offered his support for anything she needed. Ansia cooked a table full of mouth-watering dishes, leaving everyone salivating and happily joining the feast. However, an unseen guard lurking outside couldn't resist the aroma and sneaked into the kitchen. Upon lifting the lid of a tempting pot of soup, he involuntarily swallowed saliva. Unexpectedly, as soon as he reached out to open the lid, he found someone entering. When Ansia came in, she was puzzled as to why the lid was open. Her eyes lit up when she saw a black cat, quickly picking it up and exclaiming, "So adorable." Yet, the cat remained fixated on the soup. Ansia fetched a bowl and offered it to the feline. After drinking, she couldn't resist cuddling it against her face. Just then, Blake peeked in from the door, eyeing the cat in Ansia's arms with a hint of jealousy. "You hold him so tightly," he remarked. But his wife was lost in the joy of petting the cat, replying, "Look how cute it is. Seems like it really likes me." Blake pointed out that it was male. Ansia turned the cat around to confirm its gender, but it suddenly wriggled free and darted away, leaving Ansia feeling pitiful. The cat looked back from afar, hoping to meet Ansia again. After a busy day, Ansia lay sprawled on the bed, thinking about the cute cat she had encountered. Suddenly, someone crept onto the bed, Blake. His eyes sparkled like gemstones as he playfully meowed, trying to imitate a cat. This left Ansia bewildered. Blake, noticing Ansia's fondness for a cat, wanted to play along and be a cat too. Blinking his eyes and looking pitiful, he said, "You have me already. I can be your bunny, cat, or dog. Don't look for other pets." Then he meowed again, melting Ansia's heart. She hugged him and exclaimed, "Your Highness, you're too cute." Seeing Ansia's affection, Blake also smiled. In reality, Blake recognized the scheming male cat from the kitchen. It was the palace guard in disguise, which made him jealous. Meanwhile, Richard noticed the emperor's daily gifts to Ansia. He schemed to gain the emperor's favor, but found the emperor unyielding like a fortress. Both the prince and the emperor valued Ansia greatly, leaving Richard puzzled about her sudden transformation. He couldn't help wondering what happened to her. How could a person suddenly change so much? He'd have accepted that kids love if he knew this would happen. However, because of this, he wanted her even more. The harder it is to get something, the more you want it. Ansia's mother had a humble background, treated as a disgrace by her father since childhood, often subjected to his physical abuse and verbal insults. Ansia woke up from a nightmare, tears streaming down her face, reliving memories of her past. She could feel the pain and despair vividly. Blake anxiously asked her, "Are you okay?" Feeling guilty, he blamed himself, thinking his curse caused Ansia's nightmares. Ansia held him close, gently saying, "It feels so good to be with you, Your Highness. Stay with me a little longer." They embraced tightly, savoring the peaceful moment together. Ansia knew how tired the previous Ansia had been to deal with so much depression. She jumped into the water to kill herself. On the other side, her father now knew that she was favored in the palace and wanted to use his daughter to gain intelligence and bring down the crown prince. When Ansia came out, he vented his long-standing dissatisfaction on her, about to loudly rebuke her. However, he saw his daughter appearing in lavish attire, adorned with dazzling jewels, exuding an aura of authority. Was this really his originally humble daughter? Her father angrily scolded her. "How dare you? Can't even show respect to your father?" Just as he was about to raise his hand to slap her, Ansia brought up the example of Marquis Hamel because he had wanted to lay hands on Ansia and got punished by the emperor. Her father, now fearful, withdrew his hand. He felt that Ansia had changed, no longer the naive daughter longing for love, but now displaying the demeanor of the most authoritative woman in the empire. Ansia was determined to seek justice for her past self, commanding loudly, "Don't ever show up at the crown prince's palace again. I will forgive you this time, But if I see something like this happen again, I won't be merciful. She ordered the guards to drag her scoundrel of a father out, making it clear he had no chance to exploit her anymore. After dealing with this issue, she spotted the cat again, happily picking it up. After Blake finished working on his abs, he went to find his little wife, only to see that despicable scheming tomcat in her arms. It grated on him like a thorn in his side, making him extremely jealous. He asked Ansia, "Don't you like bunnies anymore? Do you prefer cats now?" Then he clenched his fists and let out a childish meow, which made Ansia tremble with cuteness, thinking, how can he be so adorable? She smiled and replied, "As long as it's my husband, I like it." She then asked Blake if he could help her with something, to practice dancing. Blake nodded without hesitation, always ready to help his wife. When Blake took his little wife's hand, he blushed, and the two of them danced elegantly. For 3 seconds, it was elegant, but then Ansia's clumsiness showed, as she accidentally stepped on the crown prince's foot. Despite that, Blake didn't mind at all. He kept encouraging her, and they enjoyed dancing from day to night. Finally done with the practice, Blake encouraged her, saying, "Don't feel too pressured. Everyone will be too busy admiring Ansia, so they won't pay attention to your steps. It's going to be beautiful. Everyone will surely fall in love with you." As he spoke, he sighed wistfully, "I want to watch the scene too." Ansia placed her hand on his, gently saying, "You will be allowed to attend banquets when you have grown up." Blake believed her and nodded, "Then I will make sure to escort Ansia." She smiled and replied, "I will wait for you until then." The next day, Ansia made a pot of delicious food for the emperor. Hesitating, the emperor looked at the dish and jokingly asked if it was edible. After taking a bite and savoring the delicious flavor, he praised her cooking skills generously, saying, "It's very tasty." She thought, "But you just asked if it was edible." To her surprise, the emperor joked, "Even if it was poison, I would still eat it." This was clearly pampering his daughter-in-law. After finishing their meal, the emperor mentioned that he wanted to fill the lake and build a glass greenhouse for Ansia, the very lake she had once fallen into. Ansia assured him that she wouldn't make such a mistake again. The emperor insisted, stating, "We can't overlook it. That lake almost took my daughter-in-law's life." Back home, Ansia told Blake about the emperor's plan, hoping he would persuade his father not to fill the lake. However, Blake was even more eager than his father to fill the lake that nearly drowned his wife. This stubbornness seemed to run in the family. Blake envisioned planting cabbage inside the greenhouse and making spicy cabbage dishes, as well as growing roses to give to his wife because roses symbolize love and are often given as a proposal gift. Ansia pinched Blake's adorable face and said, "Let's wait until you're a bit older." He disagreed, saying, "I'm already grown up." On the day of the ball, Ansia dressed like a fairy, earning compliments even from the emperor himself. She gave him a thumbs up, praising his perfection that day, to which he chuckled and teased her about being too flattering. He then took her hand, and they entered the ball together. During the ball, everyone greeted the emperor and crown princess. Ansia noticed Richard there as well, smiling at her, which annoyed her. She thought to herself that if he wanted to stand out, he would have to be at least at the emperor's level or as adorable as her Blake. The emperor noticed her unease and asked what was wrong. Ansia leaned close and whispered, "You look the most handsome here, father." This made the emperor smile. His smile caused a stir in the room, as the usually cold, dignified emperor had been teased into laughter by the crown princess. The emperor officially announced the start of the ball, and Ansia wondered if he would invite her to dance. However, she still hoped to dance the first dance with Blake. Just as she was conflicted, the emperor announced to everyone that due to his declining dance skills, he would not dance with his daughter-in-law. Ansia was surprised but grateful when the emperor told her that her first dance would still be with Blake, showing that he had always known her thoughts. She quickly expressed her thanks. The emperor ruffled her head, saying, "I should be the one thanking you." Ansia felt the warmth of her father-in-law's gesture, and everyone was amazed to see the emperor not only smiling but also patting the crown princess's head. For this royal banquet, Ansia had done her homework well. She effortlessly conversed with the nobles while her despicable father watched her with hatred in his eyes. Annoying Richard appeared in front of her again, truly repulsive. He confidently invited Ansia to dance the first dance with him, but Ansia declined his invitation. The first dance of the Crown Princess was, of course, with the Crown Prince. Ansia thought this person had no shame. Richard, publicly rejected, dared not speak out his anger and left dejectedly. Ansia went to the balcony to catch some fresh air. It was the first time she had been separated from Blake for so long. Thinking of her rabbit-like husband, she took out a handkerchief and wiped her tears silently. Suddenly, a girl's voice came from behind the curtains. The curtain was pulled aside, revealing the novel's female lead, Diana. Ansia was surprised to meet her sister here. Diana, with bright, sparkling eyes, exclaimed to Ansia, "Sister, you look beautiful today. You're not only breathtaking but also elegant, like an angel." It turned out that Diana really admired her sister, but due to their father's differential treatment, they were often forced to be apart. Diana looked around and took out a gift she bought with her pocket money, saying, "This is something I secretly bought." Ansia accepted the gift and thanked her sincerely. After the banquet, as Ansia got off the carriage, Blake rushed over and hugged his little wife. Ansia asked Blake, "How do I look?" He replied, "You look gorgeous." She shyly smiled. Back in their bedroom, Blake learned that Ansia didn't dance. He was shocked. Ansia explained, "Because for my first dance, I wanted to dance with your highness. Today, I also met a cute and beautiful girl who will help the crown prince lift the curse." Holding Blake's hand, Ansia made him promise her something. She said, "When the curse on you is lifted in the future, you must dance with me." Blake, feeling uneasy, asked, "Apart from you, who else would I dance with?" Seeing his wife silent, he suddenly started crying, saying, "I am scared that you might leave me, that someday you'll just be gone without saying a word." He emotionally shook Ansia's shoulders. "I don't want anyone else. I just want you. I can fulfill anything you want. Please don't leave me." Ansia also hugged Blake in sadness and agreed to his plea. She knew it was a white lie, and she would eventually have to leave. She wanted to protect Blake, but needed to lift the curse on him. The next day, Blake, knowing that Ansia's sister was coming, dressed handsomely. Ansia thought he was so excited because he was meeting his first love for the first time and asked Blake if he was nervous. He replied, "A little. What if my sister-in-law hates me?" So, it turns out Blake was nervous not because he was meeting his first love again, but because he was meeting her family, but Ansia still felt a bit sad, thinking it could be that he said it as a polite gesture in front of her. Diana flew into her sister's arms as soon as she saw her, like a little puppy nuzzling against Ansia's chest, her little mouth praising her sister for becoming more and more beautiful. Diana and Blake finally met. Ansia looked at this golden couple and indeed found them more compatible than she had imagined. She found an excuse to leave in a hurry, leaving Blake and her sister alone together. At this moment, Ansia felt a pain in her heart.